So, good evening and welcome to Angel's Haven. I've gotten a few messages from people asking me when I'm going to talk about my next project. So, this video will do that. A brief update on me personally. My health has been good. Some of you know that I developed a weird malady about 2 years ago, which is weakening my calves. They first thought it was a progressive condition. They did a biopsy about a year ago and ruled that out. They've ruled out anything genetic, which is a really good thing. And they have ruled out all the terrible letter diseases, I call them. I'm very grateful that it is not any of them. Now, however, my calves have weakened, and so they're going to give me leg braces. I haven't worn leg braces since I was a toddler, and they've gotten very fancy. They've also encouraged me. I have gained maybe 30 pounds since I've lived in California, as you can probably tell if you knew me 5 years ago. And so I've been encouraged to lose that, and I know that's important, so I'm working on that. Uh, but I'm fine. So, my new project. Some of you know, especially if you know me from Kansas City, that in 2010, I and several wonderful people joined together and created a public art space called Art at Suite 100. And at that public art space, which was in the suite where my law firm was, and my colleagues were there also, and they were part of it and supported it, uh, and in the lobby of that building. So we hosted local artists. They showed for several months. We had an opening. We did closings sometimes, but they were not particularly successful, so we didn't always do them. But the artists were able to show and sell their work. I loved it. I miss the artist. I miss Art at Suite 100. I miss the camaraderie of my colleagues and I doing it together. And for the last 4 years, I've been helping run or running an outdoor market where local artists show and sell their crafts and art. I had thought that that would turn into a storefront opportunity here at the RV and tiny house resort where I live, but it just hasn't been able to develop that way. So instead, I've rented a storefront. Um, my sister once said, my entire address is a lie. My address is 922 West Brandon Island. 922 will not get you to me. It gets you actually, I think, to the marina office across the street. I think technically we might actually be 950. But West Brandon Island, I'm not on Brandon Island, I'm on Andros Island. And then the city is Isleton, California. I don't live in Isleton. So my whole address is a lie. However, there is a town of Isleton. And as somebody in the Isleton mailing area, Isleton is basically my town. It was sort of a ghost town when I first moved here, trying to come back. There are a couple of galleries there. A few things that had opened before the pandemic closed during it. There are a few restaurants, a couple antique stores, a beer room, a wonderful coffee shop called Isleton Coffee, which I love, uh, and a couple places that sell art, local art. But what I decided to do was a creative collective. So the artists will be able to show and sell their work. Instead of paying a commission, they'll pay a membership fee to belong, which they can work off to some extent by working shifts in the store. I know. Working 4 days a week and trying to be a writer and helping run a small not-for-profit, it's just not enough. I have no partner, I have no minor children, I have no pets. I don't own the land on which I'm parking, so I don't really have to take care of it. The part that's my responsibility, I can hire someone to do since I'm not able to do it myself. So I figured I'd take some of my earnings and savings and open a shop. So I'm going to show you a little bit of, I took some footage this weekend in the shop as which now is sort of quasi set up. This coming weekend, the artists and artisans who are going to be part of it will be bringing their wares to set up. And November 18th, 2 weeks from now, we're opening. I'm kind of crazy. I don't have the phone number or internet yet. I thought it would be easier to get than it's turned out to be, so I kind of put it off till about a week ago. Should be up and running in the next couple of days. I don't know why I didn't do it a month ago when I signed the lease, but it's in the works. Uh, the name of the creative collective is Mubdies, Mubdie''S. Mubdi is an Arabic word that means a creative person or an innovator. You might know that my mother was half Syrian and half Austrian. My father was pretty much all Irish, maybe a little German in there. I basically looked up creative or creator in Arabic, German, and Gaelic or Irish. I don't know, do you call it Irish or Gaelic? Are those two different things? At any rate, I looked it up in the three languages that are from my heritage, and the Arabic word mabdi actually sounds sort of like an English word, and I liked it. Um, I've been told everyone's going to mispronounce it. I'm okay with that, as long as they come and buy, meet the artists, and patronize the store. So you will get a little tour of the store with no wares in it yet. Um, and we can, with the exception of one large piece, which is anchored to the wall, the shelves and cabinets and whatnot that you'll see uh, might well be rearranged. It's basically 3 rooms, a big storefront, and then 2 smaller rooms, one of which is set up like a workshop room for people to give classes or demonstrations. And then one of the smaller rooms will be display. And right now it has some bookshelves in it, but they're not anchored yet, so they might well get rearranged to make room for other displays. So without further ado, here it is, and I'll come back and say a closing word or two. So here we are in the storefront as it will never be again. the the moment that it looks like nothing will come together. I wanted to start this narrative outside, but there were too many people on the street. This is the beginnings of a children's corner that the brown chair on the far wall was abandoned here, and I appropriated it. the little school chair I bought at a thrift store in Pescadero, and that table my friend Michelle found in her storage trailer, one of many, and I have a bookshelf which will go against that wall. You can see now this side of the temporary Mubdi's sign. That cabinet will be the cashier. Right now it's holding debris. That gun cabinet will be ultimately, in the next few days, it will morph into a jewelry display. The lamp on the floor is on temporary loan from the person that made it, and the floor lamp is on loan from his partner, Michelle. Michelle is the person that has let me use all this furniture. That big cabinet will be able to house the wares of 3 different vendors. They'll each have a section, and then they each have locking storage underneath. This is actually 2 pieces, a dresser that will be displaying storage and a table for which we have to get new legs. We have a lot to do in a week. And then there's another great table that'll be display with some type of storage under it. This main room will be the main display room. And the tapping you hear is my walking stick. I apologize for that noise. There will be a mirror hung on that wall to bounce light from the window across the way. I think that mirror is, sitting over there. This furniture was all either loaned or given to me by my friend Michelle. I think the big cabinet she'd ultimately like back. So then down this hallway we will have visual art displayed. There'll be visual art displayed on that wall as well. Visual art displayed on the hallway walls. At least the one on this side, I think it would be more visible. Then this small room with the exterior exit will be set up like a workroom. Participating artists will be able to give classes. There's a tabletop here which needs legs, and I'll be getting them put on. And we'll have a coffee set up in here and a small refrigerator, which I have to get. Again, there's a lot to do in a week, but I'll get it done. The back door goes to a separate apartment, which is not part of what I'm renting. There's a full restroom in there, which is available for people working here at least. I might make it open to the public. I haven't decided. There's some risk in that, but it's a good thing if I can figure out how to do it. So this room will also have display in it. I just put together those shelves. There'll be visual art on a railing system over there. And then there are 2 other shelves. So for those of you who've been following my videos, you know this bench came from my house. I mentioned that it was going away and would appear elsewhere, and this is the elsewhere. I'm not entirely committed to having it on the risers. They're not 100% safe, but it's very low if you don't have it on the risers, so I'm not exactly sure. I don't think the risers are that safe, so I might take them off. But I'm probably going to put some lamps hanging plugged into those plugs. I don't think this room has a lot of light, and I want a little more. I might put a mirror over there as well. So this is the shop. The name of it is Mubdi's, a creative collective. It is, Mubdi's is the Arabic word for a creative person, an inventor, or an innovator. a person who finds things and makes other things out of them. I've had an idea to have a shop for the last 3 or 4 years. I wanted to do it at the park where I live, but it just didn't work out. And I really wasn't in a position to go forward as quickly as I have, which is why it's not done 2 weeks before my scheduled opening. But this shop front became available, and I went for it. So that's what's going on in my life, and I'd be interested to hear what you think. So I'm going to sign off right now, but might do a little more since I didn't get to do an introduction outside, since there were so many people on the street. I was a little self-conscious about it. And there you have it. So I'm starting to put together a few things. That library table will eventually probably go on that wall. We have to find its legs. We're getting there, though. I've got a lot of work to do before Friday, when artists start coming. I've been experimenting with this workroom. Let's see if I can show you. We found a pedestal for that tabletop. And one of my artists, Rachel Warren, donated those 2 director's chairs. Those 1950s folding stackable chairs I've had forever. Little microwave stand. There'll be a little refrigerator next to it. I'll probably have a coffee service for those of us who are working. This will basically be the workroom. I might put a bigger table in here, but it's not really big enough to have much bigger table, maybe a little bigger, but I really like that tabletop. I'm going to change the little sign on it, though, mostly because it has a grammatical error. So we're getting there. Got the trash hauled. I decided to take that bench off of its risers. I just didn't think it was safe. So I have room in here for 1, 2, 3, 4 product makers, non-visual artists. And then I'll put visual art on that wall and probably on this wall. And then I'm going to put that mirror on the wall behind the cashier, but I think I have another thing coming eventually that will go there. And then I'll have visual art on this big wall and probably that wall. So we'll have 4 walls of visual art. That one, this hall one, where the wall where the fire extinguisher is, and the big wall in the auxiliary room. So in here we comfortably have room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 separate artist displays. Comfortably room for 4 separate artist displays in the other room. So we can probably have, without starting to get crowded, 12 to 15 art and artists and artisans showing their work in here, showing and selling. It's not a gallery. The idea is for it to be a shop with a small maker's room. I'm really pretty excited about it. We still have to get the shelves in there. that big sideboard or cabinet, whatever it is. And then I bought 2 pieces of wood to make shelves. That is actually this right here. This long cabinet is actually a gun cabinet, but we're going to put 2 shelves in it, and we think it could be jewelry display. So I'm pretty excited. I'm beside myself with panic, actually. Coming together. Here's a view from standing behind the cashier stand. Of course, that ladder won't be there, and those mirrors will be hung. So, still a little bit of rubble, but it's getting there. I have a lot to do before Friday when the artists start coming, and I work Monday through Thursday, so I might be over here evenings. So there you have it, the beginning of my newest project. For those of you who watched my video with the new love seat, I'm sure you saw the green bench, which I told you would make a reappearance somewhere, and sure enough it has. I'm excited, nervous, terrified, but I think it's going to be grand. Big shout out to a friend of mine in Isleton named Michelle Burke, who introduced me to the lady that owns the building and who contributed most of the furniture that you see in there, except those bookshelves in the one room. Those were new. I could not have done this without her. She's been a big moral support and a practical help. She's been over there every day, even though she has her own place and pigs and goats and sheep and lots of responsibilities and a partner on top of that, but she's been a big help. Also, shout out to my friends Jimmy and Candy, who've been very, very supportive, and Jimmy has actually been a lot of practical help and given me a lot of advice. Candy got down on her hands and knees and cleaned some of that furniture for me. Jimmy attached that big cupboard to the wall. They've been very, very helpful. And big shout out to the Isleton Coffee Company, which has given me coffee and toast and encouragement and introduced me to people in town. Ruby and Aleda, big props. Thank you so much. If you're a follower of mine on YouTube, which I think I have, 400, some of them, most of whom I know, thank you so much for being there. Feel free to share this video with anybody you might know who's in the California Delta, especially if they're an artist or an artisan and they want to be part of these. And thank you for spending a few minutes of my tiny life with me, and I'll see you next time.